All right, let's get started. Yeah, today we have Trailblazer Marketing guys talking about AI SEO, SEO on LLMs. A really interesting topic. I don't actually know anything about this. I did work at Google for a couple of years, but these guys are the experts. They have some interesting case studies too with some big names in the app space. So excited to have you guys, and let's get started.
Awesome. Cool. So welcome to the talk. Thanks for the intro, Joseph. So my name is Amir. I'm joined by Marzouk. He's one of my co-founders at Trailblazer Marketing. And we are an SEO and AI optimization agency. We help companies essentially generate profitable inbound traffic. And today I will be talking to you about the SEO strategy that we've used to help companies like Music by Cal AI and many more companies grow and basically establish themselves to profitable inbound SEO programs. So jumping right in, a lot of people think that SEO is essentially dead. It's not dead, it's just evolving in our opinion. And it is at a key inflection point. And what I mean by that is ChatGPT has about 500,000 views, or sorry, 500 million views in December 2024. Google conversely had 10x that amount in the same amount of time. But at the same time, not a lot of traffic is flowing from AI, but majority of the websites on the internet are getting some traffic from AI search bots. So people think Google is going to die again for the 30th time in history. But reality is just different. Like this is more about a shifting landscape where people are using AI for different things, or different personas are using AI search. So for example, I know younger people prefer AI search, and then older people prefer traditional search engines, and they're also using it for different use cases too. But what we'll be showing you in this talk is that Google is still kind of the king when it comes to driving inbound traffic. And yeah, before I do that, a quick overview into who we are. We essentially use SEO to grow businesses. So prior to Trailblazer Marketing, we actually started and exited a two-sided marketplace that we grew primarily through SEO. We didn't really have a lot of capital. We didn't raise any money. We bootstrapped small little Toronto marketplace. And so the only option we had was basically to grow through low-cost organic methods. So we got lucky in a sense that everybody was online in the pandemic, but we scaled past 100,000 users for a tiny HR kind of marketplace, connecting HR and manufacturing warehouse labor. And since exiting, we've helped over 100 companies grow through SEO. And at the same time, we're using SEO to grow our own ventures too. So we've got a local SEO company that we've set up over here in Toronto. Basically, my brother bought a jet ski, and so we're renting that out over the summer. So we're already ranking at position 5. You can check out my Twitter. I'm documenting that entire journey over there as well. We've got a SaaS tool that we're launching this week too. And then hopefully in Q4, we're going to do an e-commerce play as well. So big misconception, like I'm going to jump straight deep in, is that most people get SEO completely wrong. Like every conversation that we have with clients, especially new clients, is that they think SEO is mainly just blogging. But that's kind of the tip of the iceberg. So like we see this all the time, like great products are just buried because they don't match the language that people are using in search. SEO is less about like writing for robots. It's more product marketing at scale. So this means curating and creating pages that attract your audience across your entire marketing funnel. Like your goal is to basically own your market and own your niche when it comes to the search terms that they have across the entire marketing funnel, not just info, also transactional pages. So what we'll be doing is talking about in this talk is a simple framework that we'll share that we use for our clients actively and our own companies to rank in Google and AI, how AI and SEO work together. So like AI search, ChatGPT, Perplexity, etc. And then 4 actionable tactics that you guys can use today to actually rank in AI search too. And then Joseph and the team will choose like 1 to 2 companies that will do a live SEO strategy audit for, time permitting. Joseph, if you guys can just ask like everybody joining, whoever wants the SEO strategy, if you guys want to get like the most helpful, thoughts. If you can share your information in this format, like 3 bullet points: 1, your company domain; 2, your niche or industry; and then 3, your top 2 to 3 competitors. That will make it easy for us to give you actionable feedback.
Could you repeat those again? I'm going to put them in the chat. Company name.
Yes. Company domain, like your website.
Yep.
Your niche or industry.
Mhm.
And then your top 2 to 3 competitors. That will make it easiest.
I'll put that in the chat.
Awesome. Thanks. So jumping right into the SEO crash course, when we work with clients, there's 2 kind of broad categories that we go after in terms of keywords. One are transactional intent keywords. And so these are basically keywords that people are searching for when they're ready to convert, or at least create their short list of solutions to consider. So as an example, you'd be searching for something like CRM for marketing agencies because it's very specific and tailored to what the user is trying to accomplish. And these are usually landing pages of some sort, and they're meant to drive conversions. Conversely, informational is what a lot of people know about SEO. It's like, keywords when people are still trying to figure out if they have a pain or how to solve the pain specifically. And these are usually top, middle, bottom of funnel keywords that build trust and awareness. So as an example, in that same, category, it's like how to set up a CRM, because this is something that somebody's searching for when they're curious about how this type of software works. And these are usually blog articles or some kind of resource page. So when we work with clients, we usually help them set up pages using our product-led SEO framework. So this means thinking through all the different transactional intent keywords that we can use to create pages that align with your product or service value propositions. And then the blog articles are not meant to be like the primary revenue drivers. They're basically meant to funnel people through to your landing pages or product pages and then help you drive conversions. They also help you become an authority within your niche too. The combination of the two, like the transactional intent landing pages and then blog articles, is what will essentially help you dominate your niche. So I'll walk you through an example. And this is basically for the CRM industry. And I know this is like the consumer club. I'll walk you through an example of that too. But this search is so fresh in my mind because we are trying to find a good CRM solution. Like I'm actively in the market for a good CRM solution. So this is fresh. When I searched for, like what is a good CRM software, that's very broad. Like I got a broad list of softwares, like it's HubSpot, Salesforce, etc. I didn't think that they were the best fit specifically for what we were looking for. But when I search for things like, what are the top CRM solutions for, marketing agencies, right? I found a few good fits, but what really drove it home for me is like when I searched and I found what are the top CRM solutions that integrate with FreshBooks, which is our accounting software. That's when I basically found the perfect fit. So long story short, you never know which value proposition aligns with your ICP. So your best bet is to cover all of your different options, because I could have very well converted at a broad like search term over here, CRM software. I could have converted at HubSpot, but I didn't think that they were the best fit. So I went down the rabbit hole of searching for agencies and then also who integrates with FreshBooks. And that's basically what led me to finding a good solution. So now more focused on the consumer club, there's this consumer software that's coming up called Claim. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's basically an up and coming app that helps people with, cashback or rewards. I don't know if they're part of the community. If they are, that's awesome. This is hopefully even more helpful for you guys. But this is basically a preview of how we would do the product-led, SEO for Claim. So a good transactional keyword for the homepage is basically what is the product category that they play within, right? And product category is really important because this is the core search term that a sophisticated audience would search for. So for Claim, it's kind of like a cashback app, right? But then you'd also have an opportunity to attract a B2B audience too, if you're selling to them. So that would be like a customer loyalty software. And your goal over there is to attract in-house marketers at companies that are looking to set up a customer loyalty program, right? And then they could use Claim to do that, and so on and so forth. But then when you look at the informational keywords, they're still bottom of funnel. The nature of the page and the search is just different, right? So you're creating like best cashback apps, best restaurant loyalty programs, and these are both bottom of funnel pages that basically funnel traffic to your landing pages, but then you also have the opportunity to convert traffic from those pages too. So looking at this example, looking at this example, there are like the 4 different keywords. Cashback app gets about 11,000 search visitors. Best cashback apps gets about 800 search visitors. Customer loyalty software about 2,300 visitors per month. And then restaurant loyalty programs gets about 1,100 searches globally per month. So these are just 4 pages, right? Realistically, you would have a lot more value propositions and a lot more pages on your website. So you're looking at a territory of like maybe 50, 60,000 potential search visitors for Claim across all the different web pages. So search at its core, like the job to be done is just to solve problems, right? So some people may know that they've got a problem and they're looking actively for a solution. Other people are still trying to figure out if they actually have a problem and how to solve that. AI search is essentially just an evolution, like it's a layer that solves the same job to be done. At the end of the day, good content and web pages are still the North Star for SEO and AI optimization. And like on that same note, SEO has survived a couple of different revolutions, right? So like with voice, we saw that big hype a couple of years ago. There was limited actual change in the SEO strategy. People still typed or tapped to get reliable results. With AR, VR, it never really panned out. Like there wasn't really sustainable search volume from voice search. Some people still use it though. But with AI search, it's kind of different because AI understands context. It's not just about keywords. And AI genuinely influences the buyer's journey. Like it recommends products and it changes the way trust is built out, essentially. That being said, like AI search in our mind is kind of what Google looked like in 2003. So not a lot of people are optimizing for it. It's not driving a whole lot of traffic at this moment, but the first movers over here are probably going to drive crazy results. Like in 2003, Google was small but growing. In 2024, AI search is small but moving very, very quickly. 98% of AI traffic comes from ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, etc. And the reach is expanding pretty quickly. Like in ChatGPT, in November 2024, they sent traffic to 30,000 unique domains. And that's up from 10,000 unique domains in July 2024. So 3x over the course of 4 months. Looking at the latest data, it's realistically another 3 to 5x. So it's growing pretty quickly. The smart strategy in our mind, and referencing this diagram again, is that like even though Google has 10x the traffic on a monthly basis as compared to ChatGPT, it's growing pretty quickly. So you don't want to like just focus on AI search or focus on Google search. The smart option is to focus on both, because if you do good SEO, as I'll point out later in the talk, the playbook is really similar. Like the playbook is very, very similar. If you do good SEO, the playbook to rank in AI search is very similar. It's just an added layer, more workflows, and then a little bit added effort, and then you can easily rank in both. So Google is also moving towards AI. You guys already know this, right? But featured snippets was the predecessor to this. AI overviews, they don't just summarize. Users also have the option to chat with Gemini and get more tailored results and recommendations. And these are usually triggered by longer, personalized, complex search queries. So as an example, going back to my search, right? Which CRM has XYZ features and also has an integration with FreshBooks? Most companies would not have created pages for that, but AI will get the context and show results appropriately. So as an example over here, like featured snippets was basically like a featured spot in the search results box. But this generative AI, like the AI overviews, is an expanded, method of featured snippets. Surprisingly, the click-through rate on AI overviews is actually a lot higher than featured snippets. You would assume the opposite, but AI search is actually complementing SEO a lot. And people obviously have a lot more options to, ask more complex questions over here as well. So, the way AI search is working right now, if you are purely thinking in terms of keywords, you're kind of being left behind because a lot of people are just asking complex task-based questions. And if you answer well, you will get cited and you will get referral traffic too. ChatGPT queries, they just don't fit that traditional mold of like navigational, informational, or transactional keywords. And the reason for that is because they're incredibly complex. With Google, people usually optimize around those short tail keywords, right? Like cashback app or CRM software. But with AI search, the average search query is actually 23 words, so it's pretty long. So as an example, like here are some search queries that would fit best for each respective platform, right? On Google, I would be searching cashback shopping apps. On ChatGPT, I would be searching how does claim compare to Honey rewards, right? Or on Google, I would be searching CRM software. On ChatGPT, I would be searching what's the best CRM software for a founder with no sales team and a small budget. So the search queries are pretty different, but according to an Adobe survey of about like 5,000 US consumers, ChatGPT significantly influences the consumer, purchase journey. Products recommended by ChatGPT are more likely to be adopted, and companies that don't have a lot of brand awareness going in are actually likely to get more trust after being recommended by ChatGPT. So you definitely don't want to neglect it. So at this point, you may be wondering, like, where do these chatbots actually get their answers for? The quick answer is that they use existing search engines. So Bing, which is traditionally like a text-based search engine, YouTube is video, Google is text, obviously. So these three search engines account for 89% of all source domains for ChatGPT. So a precursor to good AI optimization is in fact good SEO optimization. Because without the traditional search engines, the AI chatbots just would not have up-to-date results. And the reason for that is the traditional search engines, their crawlers are significantly more complex. Like their infrastructure is way better built out. LLMs are not set up to crawl throughout all the different web pages on the internet. Their purpose is to crawl through existing information and come up with recommendations. The crawler infrastructure that search engines set up is just way more complex, and it will be difficult to see the LLMs catch up to the traditional search engines. So we're flowing pretty quickly. Now I'm going to be giving you guys the 4 broad factors, and there's lots of detail within each that we are seeing that helps clients rank in AI search. And the first component is basically really good content that covers the full marketing funnel. So this means making sure that your web pages are also crawlable. You've got good brand awareness, good brand strength, and then you're also doing a really good job of traditional SEO. So I'll touch on all these points in the next few slides. So when it comes to crawlability, it's kind of a technical term, but essentially means making sure that your pages are easy to read and retrieve. So the LLMs are a lot more picky than search engines when it comes to indexing and reviewing your website. They just don't have the same infrastructure as I mentioned. So the first thing that will be helpful for you to rank in LLMs is to do good internal linking. And this means following the 3-click rule. So this means every important page on your website should be within 3 clicks from the homepage. If it's more than 3 clicks from the homepage, the traditional search engines will find it difficult to index that page. And when you're talking about LLM, forget about it. It's going to be really difficult. So that means every page on your website should have at least one internal link from another page. don't have orphan pages, as they're called. So every page should have another page on your website referencing it. So as an example, like if you've got a really important landing page and it's orphaned, if you don't have an internal link pointed to that, it just won't be found in search or in LLMs. So the next thing is having a clean XML sitemap. So this means including all of your important pages on your sitemap, which you can then send to, Bing and Google and whatnot, and try to break down your category of sitemap by the type of page. So landing pages and blogs. So if you want to get a good example of what that means, I would say take a look at Shopify focused sitemaps or WordPress focused sitemaps. Shopify does a really good job. Like they'll usually separate collection and product pages and then your regular pages as well. WordPress does a really good job because they will usually separate your blog content from your regular landing pages too. It just makes it easier for these crawlers to visit and go through your website. Make sure that your sitemaps are up to date. And the big thing is just make sure that your formatting is done properly. So I know Framer specifically, and a lot of consumer apps use Framer. Framer specifically had a lot of challenges. Like I think it was Q3 of last year. And then ever since then, like a lot of people started bugging them. They started posting it in forums and everything. So Framer got it sorted, but always, 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 depending on what CMS you use, or even if you create the XML sitemap yourself, run it through an XML validator. The last thing you want to do is go through all this work and then, not have it be structured properly. So there's two more things. One thing is that one factor we're seeing is that larger websites are starting to block LLMs. So depending on your content management system, you just want to make sure that your robots.txt file does not include LLM blocking, because accordingly then the ChatGPT, Perplexity, all that, they won't be crawling through your different pages. One new practice that we are seeing, and this is evolving pretty quickly because the standard is now being set, is that some websites are setting up dedicated LLMs.txt files. So it's very similar to like a robots.txt file that you would traditionally submit to a Google Search Console or a Bing Webmaster or the like. The opportunity with LLMs.txt is that you can segregate the pages, separate them, and include them in the LLMs.txt to point out your more important pages that you want these LLMs to crawl through. So you may not want them to go through like your docs or your resource pages and all that. But if you just want to share your landing pages and have a concerted effort in having these LLMs go through your website, that is one evolving practice that we are starting to see of people setting up dedicated LLMs.txt files. So another thing is that you potentially want to rank, you definitely want to rank, in informational AI queries. And so what this means is AI search engines are using RAG, obviously, to get info and provide citations to your website. But the most important components that we are actually seeing in the market is that they prefer content that is in-depth, meaning it has a high word count and sentence count, creating content across the entire funnel so that you can show domain authority to AI search engines and then also traditional search engines too. And the most important thing over here is like you'll see ChatGPT weighs the flesh score, which in technical terms is basically just the readability of your content. Make it easy to read and you'll make their job easy, right? The more chances you have of getting your content show up for relevant queries. So the best thing that you can do is you can do that. Like those are the best practices. Another thing that you can also do, and this is an evolving practice as well, is that creating content that is specifically optimized for LLM style queries. So in essence, training the LLMs. And so what that means in practice is to create content that directly answers queries such as, what is the best CRM for Bootstrap founders, or what CRM has the easiest onboarding. These LLM content specific query pages that you're going to create, they may not rank well in Google, but that's fine because at the end of the day, this is pain point driven content that will align very well with your ICP. So you will convert very well from these pages if people do rank on them. Number two, you're training LLMs, right? Like, so you will be showing up in long tail prompts that people ask in ChatGPT. One big thing, and this is huge, not only for AI search, for Google search as well. Build brand awareness. Don't just focus on one marketing channel. Try to tap a few at the same time because you do want to build brand awareness. Both search engines and LLMs value brands a lot. So the labels got cut off a little bit. I apologize for that. But on the y-axis is actually the brand search volume, and on the x-axis over here are the brand mentions by LLMs. So you'll notice that brands that have more brand search volume on a monthly basis get more, brand mentions by the LLM. So the more people that are searching actively for your brand, the more likely your company is able to show up in LLMs and SEO. So that being said, like the benefit of AI search is that they give more of a preference to smaller brands as compared to Google. So if you go into Google, like you search in a medical kind of search term, you're going to see like Healthline and all these big websites. It's very rare that you will see a small like a company or website. But the benefit with LLMs and AI search is that they're starting to give more of an opportunity to smaller brands than the large search engines do. So this is really important. How to build a AI visible brand, and the goal is basically ubiquity within your niche. So that means if people are talking about your category, your name definitely needs to show up. So that means like there are more places that your brand is visible, and on pages that are contextually relevant to your niche, the better your chances are of becoming AI visible, right? So critical pages that LLMs will visit is a Wikipedia page, your website, brand and PR releases. So if you're doing like a PR push, LLMs will gobble that up. Another thing is the important data sources, obviously Reddit. Like if you search anything on Perplexity, you will see that they are actively even advertising the fact that they are using Reddit to get information. Industry specific publications. So if there's niche publications for your industry, and then like independent publishers, Substack, Medium. Adding to this a little bit as well is that you also want to be included in niche specific listicles. So what I mean by that is going back to the example of Claim. If you search for cashback app or best cashback apps, you'll likely see a whole like search results are all list based, right? So this means emailing those people and asking them to be included in that list so that it doesn't matter if the LLMs visit your website and you've got a similar page on your website, or the LLMs and SEO visit those listicles. They will put two and two together and figure out that you are an important player in your niche. A quick shortcut as well is that you can also use Help a Reporter Out, which is a platform, and you can get mentioned or referenced in news and press. So you can like have your executives drop quotes and be referenced in those news articles. And the more visibility is basically just better, right? And then lastly, this may be less relevant to consumer apps. It may or may not be depending on your niche, but category roundup. So traditionally what we think about in this sense is like a G2, a Capterra or the like, and there's likely like niche players for each industry, but being included in those roundups is also good. Because remember, your goal is to show up anytime anybody searches for a keyword related to your niche, be more visible. So, SEO still matters a lot. Obviously, as I've mentioned a few times throughout this call, strong SEO is basically a good signal that this is an authoritative website, and AI tends to agree with that. And the reason for that is that traditional search engines are based on semantic search and domain authority. So this means that the more times you show up in search results for topics in your given niche or product category across the entire marketing funnel. So that means, like your awareness, consideration, decision, or as some people refer to it, top, middle, bottom of funnel, the more likely your pages are to be indexed. And as we know by now, many times I've mentioned it, that LLMs are getting their info and learning from existing data, search and web pages. So the more you show up in search, the more likely you will be showing up in LLMs. And this is emphasized when your transactional intent pages rank high in search results, because this is what will cause the AI search engines to include you in recommendations. Of course, like they're going to scrape your transactional pages for further context. So if you've got a page that includes your features, right? Like your CRM, like what features do you guys have? And then do you also have a web page that includes the fact that you integrate with FreshBooks? They will scrape your features, understand the context. They will scrape your integrations, understand the context. So when somebody includes a very complex search query in ChatGPT or the like, where, what is a good CRM that costs less than X dollars per month that has XYZ features and then also integrates in FreshBooks, you've basically got a very high contextual answer that the search engine will show. And then obviously, like if you're showing up over there, that's very relevant to the buyer's journey, and you will likely see a very good conversion rate on those search queries. So now this is like, I'm going to give you guys like a shortcut on optimizing your transactional pages, because I'm sharing a lot about transactional pages, but I want to make this genuinely helpful to you folks as well. So you can't just rank your website for informational queries like what is a CRM, etc. You also need to rank for like CRM software, CRM pricing, or a claim example like, what is a customer loyalty software. You want to include like, you want to rank for the entire funnel, as I'm mentioning many times. So a quick 80-20 for transactional page optimization is that you want to find all of the relevant keywords for your transactional intent queries for your given niche, and then create pages that include the target keyword in the page titles, meta descriptions, and headers. That's like the science, right? Now, where it comes to the art side is that you want to focus on creating a page experience that satisfies search intent and genuinely be helpful to answering your visitors' questions. So this could mean including FAQ, certain sections that talk about the features or value propositions of your given product. And then finish up after you've created your web pages, finish up by building backlinks to your landing pages. There's no better way in traditional SEO than to provide the right trust signals than to build backlinks, and also create content that supports your landing pages and make sure you internally link between the pages. So as an example, if somebody is landing on your transactional intent keyword, do you have the opportunity to link out to a resource or blog article that helps the user understand your point of view or what you specifically solve for and how you solve the buyer's journey? And vice versa. If somebody's visiting your informational pages, do you have the opportunity to then tell them about the product that actually solves the problem? Right? So it's thinking about the buyer's journey, like always focusing on the buyer, but then doing your best job by creating the right pages on your website. And the best thing about this is that it's kind of like a self-reinforcing cycle. So when you get traffic from LLMs, you will drive even more traffic from SEO. It's self-reinforcing. The reason for that is that Google and Bing will see how much referral traffic your website is driving. And this is one of the easy ways that they will see how much brand awareness your company has. So when you get more referral traffic from LLM, socials, etc., search engines will see this as a positive signal and boost your page even further, because they will see that people are talking about this brand online and people are searching for this brand in search engines actively. So one caveat I want to throw out there is that people focus on Google, but I think that's a big mistake. Like you should be focusing on Bing as well. Like it's often seen as an invisible middleman. If you don't index on Bing, chances are you will likely not get indexed on ChatGPT. And the source of proof that we have for that is this table over here. So the higher you are in Bing organically, the higher your chances are of getting cited by ChatGPT and the order of your citation. So it's really easy to set up Bing. Like if you're already doing the Google search optimization, it's pretty easy. You basically just need to set up your Bing webmaster tools. So it's really easy. Like if you've got Google Search Console set up, you do a couple clicks in Bing Webmaster Tools, and now you've set up your Bing Webmaster as well. Submit your sitemap to them, and then also set up your index now on Bing too. So this is the corollary to indexing API from Google, which has now been sunset, unfortunately. But basically, anytime a page goes live on your website, they will automatically push it for indexing. And Bing still has that option, so I would say take advantage of it. So long story short, like don't neglect Bing, because the lower you are ranking in Bing, the less traffic you are likely to drive through AI search, and more specifically ChatGPT. So we are almost nearly at the end of the call, and then we'll take like the audit and then any questions that people have. But I wanted to throw this caveat out there as well, is that like don't think about it as a one or the other. Just because AIs and LLMs, they scrape Google and Bing, it doesn't mean that they don't have any power on their own. It's definitely not the case. Sometimes you may find yourself ranking in AI search, and that actually gives you an opportunity to then cross-optimize for Google, right? Because you're getting the traffic from AI, and then now you can potentially climb up the rankings for a relevant keyword on Google, and vice versa. If you are ranking very well for Google, that is an opportunity to go back, revisit, add a lot of depth and context for pages, and then potentially get shown in the LLMs as well, right? Last thing is that tracking. It's really important, because with traditional search, Google, Bing, and the like, you've got access to Google Search Console or Bing Webmaster Tools. So in lieu of that, what you can do is set up your own custom analytics reports. And so this means using something like Postdog, which a lot of apps use, or Google Analytics 4 and the like. You can track the traffic that's sent to your website using referral sources, because these AI search engines will often include that when they're citing you or referring traffic to you. And this way you can easily see if AI search is working for you and how well it's working, and what is your ROI from AI search if you want to double down on that. So as an example, like when ChatGPT cites you, they will include themselves as a source. Medium, they'll include referral as well. For Gemini, it's the same thing, source and medium, and same for all others. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up the discussion for SEO and AI optimization. I know it's a lot of context, but we basically covered the fundamentals of SEO, how AI and SEO work together, and the 4 broad macro factors that we are seeing right now that are helping brands rank in AI. And then now I'll open it up for Joseph and team to see if we want to do Q&A or live audits.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. Let's get to some of these case studies. So if you have if you two guys want to take a look at the chat and maybe just look at some of the ones that you feel like you'd have some good ideas for. I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4 people who've put stuff in their chat.
Okay, just one sec. All right. Joseph, did you have any recommendations? Open to your thoughts too.
Yeah, I mean, let's take a look. I feel like I've definitely heard of some of these. I've talked to Nick with Tome, Focus Tree. Definitely have talked to Narand. Yeah, I feel like any of these would be good. I think just based on what you guys you have interest, if anything comes to mind, if any interesting ideas come up.
Okay.
They could all be good case studies.
Okay, cool. Yeah, these are all pretty.
When I start with Cosmos, maybe I feel like they're. Zuhair, I just saw the message.
Yeah. Inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah, inspiration engine for creatives. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's search this. I'm just gonna search it as we talk, and then see. So, Zahir, can you unmute so I can
Yeah,
get?
sure.
Okay. Awesome. Nice to meet you, bro.
Nice to meet you.
So it's inspiration engine for creatives, and then you're competing against Pinterest, and then you said
Arena.
Arena. Okay, got it. Nice.
It's like digital mood boarding, creative
Cool.
inspiration.
Okay, and then you're attracting consumers, or you're mainly like attracting?
Yeah, most consumers. We're also very used by like creative agencies. So like
Okay.
any type of like fashion brands, will usually be using Cosmos too. And now we're trying to get a more broader audience as well. So like that's the more consumer side.
Okay, but you do have a little bit of like a B2B kind of angle there as well.
Like I would say like half of our users are definitely using this for business use to find inspiration to make like a Ralph Lauren collection, or like Apple, or all these companies, Nike.
Okay, cool. I'm just quickly going through your pages. You've got a bunch of pages over here. Actually, you've got like about 600 pages.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the actual clusters, or like the mood boards, are indexed. Yeah. So that's probably what's showing up.
Okay, cool. Nice. This is very cool. Thanks for the context. I've got a good sense of what's happening. And then when you talk about mood boards, Quentin, sorry, quick question. Quentin, what's the best CMS or tool to produce content efficiently on a blog? Webflow is good because it's tried and tested. WordPress is old school. People don't like it because it's kind of like janky. Framer, to be honest, is good, but the only thing with Framer is that you don't have a good plugin community. So Webflow is usually pretty good. Yeah. So back to,
I think like probably for us, like getting more of that blog style context is definitely something that we can like get better at.
yeah, because I'm seeing mainly you're ranking for branded search terms. I think just based off of experience with dealing with different apps, I think, and I'm just taking a look at your page. So right now you're mainly driving branded traffic, which is good. That's awesome. You've built a really good brand. But the goal with SEO and AI search is that you want to be showing up for non-branded, because that's people that are unaware of your product or category, right? So when I search for Pinterest, I know that these guys cater a little bit to B2B as well. So look, they've got a bunch of pages for as well. They've got like 1.3 million views. What would potentially work well for you is broadly two things. Looking at Pinterest, like you see how they've got these collection pages, if you want to call it, like nail ideas. So I think if you think through the different categories of how you solve the pains for people, or the different things that they want to discover, like interior design mood boards, or product marketing mood boards, anything like that. And this is similar to what Canva has done too, right? Canva's got all their different template pages, and that's the majority of the traffic that they're driving to. So if you think through that and you set up good pages, I think that is one good win. And then if you also, I'll answer that question. If you also write articles around like how to, mood board, and then people are using your platform to figure out how to do mood boarding, or also just actively like
actively mood boarding. Like we have a bunch of content, like 6 million elements that people drag and drop and save to their collections.
So what would be the biggest pain that people have when it comes to mood boarding?
Yeah, so our biggest competitor, Pinterest, like if you go on there, you'll see like 50% of the page is just ads. So Cosmos has no ads. We have the ability to like filter out AI content, along with it's just a bit more feature rich. So we have like stuff like color search and like AI tagging on our elements. As long with like a lot of people also use us for like the sleeker UI.
Okay. And then so you can probably do something. You can probably create content around like first of all, how to make a mood board. This would probably be very good. Have you heard of this company, Milano?
Yeah.
Nice. So they're driving about 5,500 visitors to this page. So this is probably a very easy win, like how to make a mood board. Top mood boarding tools, also a very easy win. Let me search in the US. Yeah, so maybe not a whole lot of traffic, but the traffic is like very focused, right? So about 515 searches, and then how to use AI for mood boarding.
Yeah, we could probably also leverage like Pinterest alternative, or like alternatives to Pinterest, stuff like that, because people search that a lot, because it's become like a pain point around the community of like AI content on Pinterest.
Okay. Yeah, Pinterest alternatives would be really good. Like you've got about 6,400 searches, 1,600 searches right here. This is really good. You could probably drive a lot of high quality traffic.
And that
blogs
1,600 searches is along what time horizon?
per month.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so a lot of traffic potential. Blogs is one thing, but I think you can also probably think through organizing your website a little bit better too, because that will drive a lot of traffic. Because there's different categories, right, of mood boarding. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I mean, there's different categories of elements or like, images that you can curate into your mood boards, but yeah, you can make a mood board of whatever you'd like.
Yes. Okay, cool. I didn't take a look at Arena, but let's see what they're mainly driving their traffic through. Probably a bit weird search queries. Yeah, this is usually, to be honest, I think the same thing is happening to you, is that you haven't really curated like your SEO presence, and I see this with other apps or companies that we speak with as well. So you probably want to get a hold on this. Like maybe this user generated content in some cases is not, you should not be indexing it, right? And then you mainly want to be indexing like important pages, like collection pages or category pages and whatnot. But then also, what is broadly, and this is the last question, what's broadly like the product category? Like if somebody's searching for, I know Pinterest does brand awareness, what would they be searching for if they don't know what they're looking for?
If they don't know of Cosmos?
Yeah, if they don't know about Cosmos, Pinterest, or the like what is the product category?
Yeah, usually they're looking for like inspiration on the web. So they might actually just search Google Images for like, UI design or like poster design.
Okay.
So I can see that as a way that they would land on Cosmos or Pinterest.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I was thinking mainly from your homepage, but then that's probably more beneficial, to be honest. Yeah, organizing the collection pages. I think that would be a huge one for you guys.
Got it. And indexing those.
Indexing them, yeah, and then I would say like going through your existing pages, just you want to avoid having like weird things like this. I don't know if they want this to show, but you want to avoid like having these kind of things show up over here.
Okay, got it.
Cool. I hope that was helpful. Did you have any other questions?
Yeah, I mean, like my main thing is like, how would we be able to, like, for example, if somebody searches up like how to create a fashion like design or something like that within ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is giving them the steps, I want to be in one of those steps, right? So if it's like step one is like, like figure out what you want to make, like is it a hoodie, whatever, and then step two is like find your inspiration on Cosmos, and then step three might be find your manufacturer on whatever, like Alibaba, right? So like how can we rank in that?
You definitely want to have that content exist on your webpage as well, but then following those other things too, like I mentioned, so the different factors, right? Like your brand awareness is obviously very good. Making sure that that web page ranks highly on Google too, and then you can also further train the LLMs. Like you remember when I mentioned in the talk like those specific LLM pages. So you can probably create a page, and sorry, it was like how to create XYZ on Cosmos. You can create those like LLM oriented pages too.
Yeah, and they wouldn't be like very consumer facing.
They can be consumer facing. Your goal at the end of the day is to be helpful to people, right?
Yeah.
And that's what AI is able to pick up on that. It's intelligent.
Got it.
Cool.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, man. I don't know if we have time for another audit, but some people are asking questions. Can you share more about how you help Cal AI on SEO? So Cal AI is currently still in the implementation phase of like, the different landing pages. We've shared with them all the different page plans and their team is working through them right now. Once they do set up these landing pages and free tools, and I believe we also have a programmatic SEO angle for them too, they will drive a lot of traffic. Right now, they're mainly generating traffic on the blog and the homepage, but after they go through and set up those recommendations, then it'll be broader like transactional intent. Nick asked a question, curious about programmatic SEO. Should we index every post from our social network? So what is Nick's? Nick, can you share your website, Tome Books?
Yeah, Tome Books. It's kind of a Goodreads competitor. You search for books and having it be a book tracker. So theoretically, you could search for any book that has been published and see what people are saying about it. So oh, this is interesting. Ranking for like stuff I was not expecting. But yeah, we're trying our hand at programmatic SEO and just of the stuff that people post on our network, just throw it into a sitemap and see what happens.
Got it. Okay, this is really cool. I've got a couple of ideas over here. I think so correct me if I'm wrong, like you've got basically like a, it's similar to a Toronto-based company that had like short stories that people submit. I can't remember what their name was.
Not quite the same as like a Wattpad or something like that. More
Exactly.
like Reddit, but for books. As in, if you read a book, there's going to be a little subreddit for it.
So these are books that professional authors have created?
Exactly.
Nice. Okay, very cool. So one thing, it's similar to the prior example. One thing you want to do is organize into the different genres that you've got, and then use breadcrumbs as well. So I'm going to send a link as well. Whoops, but add breadcrumbs. So you may have seen,
Cool.
yeah, you may have seen this on, I'm going to try to pull up an example. Breadcrumbs examples website images. Great. This is a good example. Obviously, the UI is just horrible, but make it look cool. So you think about this in terms of like author-based. Do one based off of authors. So, you know, popular authors, what are the books that they've written? That's one breadcrumb type. So a second level organization. Another one is like, you know, horror, nonfiction, business, etc. And then have the book live over here, like the actual book, and then its discussion. So I think this is probably the first step that you want to take. Sitemap is secondary, more so as important as organization on your website.
Does that change the URL structure itself? So it would be tonebooks.com/author/book/post or something like that?
So organizing through subfolders is good. If you are not able to do it, it's fine. If you implement the breadcrumbs, that should be sufficient. But if you organize through /author/book, that's even better.
Gotcha. Yeah, this is cool. I mean, we're trying to do something like Reddit does, where for anything that you search, book related, Tome should show up for it.
That's awesome. Hopefully it works. Usually that's a lot like, and I think that'll be like a recurring theme with a lot of consumer apps is that first you got to think through like the organization of your web pages, right? Make it make sense and make it genuinely useful for people. Because remember, guys, like we're driving traffic, but at the end of the day, it's people that are converting. So if you make it useful for them, then you're going to win everywhere else as well.
All right. Thanks so much. Let me close out for us. Just wanted to also just thank you guys for being here and providing so much value. It was a really interesting workshop.
Our pleasure. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thanks all. See ya.